Hey, lovelies. So this is it. We've reached the end, and I just can't believe how quickly 4 weeks goes by. Today, I want to talk to you about leadership in general. We don't want you to be the kind of diamonds that feels like now you're a big deal because you've reached diamond. Because your career as a Beachbody coach is never going to get that far if that's what you think. If now you think like I've arrived, I can sit back and enjoy this privilege of being a diamond coach. It's actually when real service begins. You know, I mentioned this week in leading yourself that when I became an elite coach, I felt like my responsibility to my team was so much larger. And that's how I want you to feel in your position now as a diamond coach, because I'm going to speak to all of you as if you've already made it. It's service, guys. It's service. It's working harder than anybody else on your team. And when you reach diamond, you have to have the attitude that you have to build yourself up to diamond again. Those actions that got you to diamond, you have to feel like you got to 10x them. That's why we had you read 10x, because success is your duty, responsibility, and obligation. And when you reach diamond, it's even larger because now you have this whole team of people, and not only just your personally sponsored coaches, but levels down that look up to you as their leader. So you have to do more than everybody. You have to outread your team. You have to outwork out your team. Make sure that you don't have Shakeology piling up on your counter because you're drinking it at least one time a day. You have to invite more than your team. You have to show the activities more than your team. You have to show up. Even when you have a bad day. And I know that that's what holds a lot of people back, those bad days. Monica and I have bad days all the time. And we talk about them with each other. But we know by now that we need to have a support system in place, that when we feel like that, we reach out to someone like, hey, help me. Because it's okay to have a bad day, but don't allow a bad day to turn into a bad week and a bad month so you have no game plan. You're a leader now. You always have to have a game plan to keep on moving because people are depending on you. That's the most important part. I have 3.5 years as a coach, and unfortunately, I've seen so many people that come into the business really hot and ready to go, and then they just drop off because something happened. And like I said, life happens to all of us. Like Craig Holiday says, you know, life isn't going to stop so that you can build your Beachbody business. Life is going to come at you even harder. That's a fact. Because when you are building something of value that helps other people, that's when the enemy gets in the way and tries to wreck everything you have going on. So I've seen so many people come into this business, bring in challengers, bring in coaches, and then disappear like they didn't have an obligation to that person. And that's wrong. That's wrong. So I want you to really ask yourselves as we finish this training, where is your heart? Is it really on serving people and helping people and knowing that you have an obligation to serve? Or is it just in rank advancing and making some cash? One attitude is going to get you so far. The other attitude is going to leave you crashing. You have to be in this for the right reason. You have to really care. Every marketing expert will always tell you, especially Gary Vaynerchuk, that the best marketing strategy is to care about the people that you bring in. You got in this to serve others. You have a leadership title because it means that people are under your care. So look out for those coaches that you bring in. Look out for those challengers that you bring in and do the best you can. But I'm going to draw a line here for you because there's only so much that you can do for somebody. When it comes to challengers, you can't go to their house and press play. When it comes to coaches, you can give them all the information, but if they don't do the work, you can't help them. But it is your job to take the time out to see what motivates them. What do they want out of their business, and help them get that. Your goal as a diamond coach should always be to help your coaches and your challengers with their goals. Not your goal to rank advance, not your goal to earn so much money, but your goal is to help them reach their goals. And also, there's an emotional intelligence that needs to come into play when you're a leader. You have to know when to push somebody. You have to know when to back off. For two reasons. One is that not everyone's motivated the same way. Some people need more than others. And two, you're going to find that one of the biggest setbacks you could ever experience in this business is when your heart is set on somebody and you see all the potential in the world in that person and they don't respond. Because what happens is that you put your energy into that person doesn't answer you back, that person goes inactive, that person disappears on you, and then you question yourself and you question your leadership. And that's how you're going to fail in this business. But instead, when you choose to put the time into the people that are showing up, that's when that person's going to thrive, and that's when you're going to thrive. I learned that lesson early on in my business when I had coaches that I knew were incredible people. They knew so many people. They could build solid businesses if they wanted to, but that's not where their heart was. But I was thinking that I could push them to get to there. And instead, I failed that year. I failed. And I felt horrible. That was the only time in my business I ever questioned quitting. It was because I was putting my energy into the wrong people. Put your energy into the people that are going to show up. Jimmy Hayes Nelson compares it to like in football. When you go out, you run a play, and let's say the play went wrong. And then the coach brings everyone back into the huddle. And in the huddle, you go over what happened and you come up with a new game plan to go back out. But let's say a player is just having a bad day, not feeling it. They probably didn't do their personal development that day. So they feel like the rejection even harder from that play that went wrong. And that player decides to leave the huddle. Should the coach leave that group of coaches that stayed there to learn, to go chase that one player that left and didn't want to be part of the huddle? Well, maybe he could check in on him once and be like, hey, what's up? Come back. But the minute that the coach takes their attention away from those people that are loyal, the people that are showing up every day, that team is going to suffer. Because that other player that walked off, chances are that they're going through things that you can't help them with right now. You have to pay attention to the people that show up every day, because then you're helping them get what they want. Actions speak louder than words in this business. You know, if they're showing you that they're showing up every day, they're on every team call, they're asking you questions, they're participating on their team page, that's who you work with. If they're not showing up and you got to inbox them to find out like, hey, were you on the call? What happened? That's not somebody you want to work with. So what do? You ask them, hey, what's going on? Remember when you told me that you wanted to be able to pay for your cell phone bill every month? Do you still want that? Are you doing the activities it takes daily? If it tells you yes, if they tell you yes, you say, okay. So let's check back in with each other tomorrow to see if if you did those things and you're on track. And if they show up the next day, then you keep helping them. If they don't and they tell you, oh, I just got really busy, my kids are sick, that's going to drain you. That's someone that you stay away from. And it's important that you learn that in this business, because you want to thrive also. And we're in the business of helping people that can help themselves. And that's why another thing that I want to leave you with that's so important in leadership is personal development. And it's like beating a dead horse with the PD. We've gone over it in this training. I know you go over it in your own team trainings, but I want to ask you a different question when it comes to PD. Are you doing leadership training? Because there's personal development that helps you and motivates you. I'm sure that when you hear Grant Cardone talking about the 10x rule and 10x this and 10x that, you have like a fire burning in on you and you just want to go out there and get to work. But does it motivate you to help your team? And by that, I mean, does it make you want to go tell them like, hey, listen to this, so you get motivated? No. Are you doing leadership development that helps you be a better leader? This training that Monica and I have done for you, this counts as leadership development. But you have to continue it on your own. John C. Maxwell is amazing when it comes to leadership development. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership is a book that every coach that wants to grow their business should read or listen to in their career various times. I'm on my third time reading that book right now. Because we need to be filled as leaders as well, so we're able to give back to the people under our care. So if you're not developing those skills, then you're not going to be able to help your team. John C. Maxwell talks about the law of the lid. You grow as far as your lid. And by that lid, it's kind of like the excuses that you give yourself. How much are you willing to invest in yourself? So raise that lid so that you can raise your leadership skills. Because we all hit that lid. Wherever you are in your business right now is exactly where you deserve to be, depending on the activities that you're taking and how much you're investing in yourself. So if you want to grow your team, that's done with leadership. Because you can only do so much by yourself. Who cares if you're hitting Success Club 100 every month? If you don't have a team of people that's being raised up and doing the same, you're going to burn yourself out. But if you develop your leadership skills continually and you learn how to be the best version of yourself so that you can pay that back and pour that back into your team to raise leaders that are working as hard as you, the entire team rises. The entire team. So that it's just not your efforts carrying everybody anymore, but it's everybody doing a joint effort to being the best version of themselves so that that's passed on. Yes, sweetheart.
Can I have your phone?
No.
I have nothing.
It's kind of like having children. We raise them and we want them to be the best version of themselves, but it takes a lot of learning as parents. And how do I do this right? How am I able to get them to understand life's lessons? Sometimes we have to let them fall in order to learn for themselves and get up on their own 2 feet. And other times we have to hold their hand. But we can't be there for them forever. All we can do is pour in the best of ourselves while we still have them, and then pray that they continue to do the right thing. Leadership is a choice. It's a responsibility. And I hope that if you get anything out of this training, it's to know that you own this business and everything that you do, from recruiting to managing, like checking your sponsorship drill down, to how you lead your team, should be intentional. It's not something that happens by accident. Success does not happen by accident. There's no such thing as luck. It's about being intentional every single day to do the things that you need to do to help yourself be successful and your team be successful. I hope that you guys soak that in. I hope it makes sense. And I would love to hear what the main takeaways that you guys have had from this training have been. Comment below and let me know. Thank you. Have a great day.